Hey, this is a report card from Summit Fi. Hello, everybody. This is report card number 1. I've been up in Summit Fi with earphones for quite a long time. A lot of stuff's have come in, a lot of stuff have gone out. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is that I think the golden zone, I think where you actually get the most value is around $1,500. Sony IER Z1R, the Unique Melody MEST, the original version of the Mark II, depending on what your preferences are for bass, actually, and maybe a little bit related to the treble. And then the Sennheiser IE900, which I absolutely didn't see coming as far as how much I'd really love it, because I'm just such a sucker for a really well done dynamic driver. I love it. Paid full retail price. No regrets whatsoever. Let's talk about that for a second. When you borrow gear or you get a loaner or you're on a tour, I think there's a variable that's missing, and that is the investment of your own money. And I point that out because there's a feeling that people get, and you might have gotten it, and I've gotten it with you, where you open a set, you're very excited, you unpack it, you put your tips on it, and then you plug it in, you start to listen to music, and then there's this moment of it either clicks or within seconds there's the feeling like your stomach is falling. That sick feeling, like you've made a mistake, and you know it quickly. It doesn't take long time. It happens in seconds. You listen to that expensive set. Everybody said it was really great. They talked about stuff that you clicked with, and then when you sit and listen to it, because you're different, your brain processes things slightly different. You're looking for slightly different things, and none of that kind of comes to your mind until that moment where you realize that $2,000 or that $800 or whatever it is, big money for you, you fucked up. That doesn't happen when you get stuff from other people. That can't possibly occur. I get that you want to kind of expand your experience and understanding and give opinions. I don't think that you can replicate that important variable. Is that IE900 was paid for by me, and I feel totally fucking cool with that. Got no problem with it. I bought the Odin the first time, even got a slight deal on it, and that felt not great. That was the pit feeling in my stomach when I was getting Neil Young screaming in my ear and I wasn't getting the powerful bass. I thought the Legend X was going to be polished in that the treble was going to be tweaked in a way where you could keep the power and the energy and the force that the Legend X presented and then get a little more detail. And I thought that the Odin overdid that, and I knew it right away. Instantly. I knew it right away. And I sold it to somebody who that might watch this video, a viewer, a Patreon, I think Patreon actually. And I was pleased. They got a great deal on it, and I was happy to get back 70% of what I spent. Totally fine. Like, get that done. I got it back again because to compare it with the Legend X, it's got to be present and I've got to pay for it. It's my money. That's a variable. That's got to be considered. Do I feel like I got my money back in my joy? That can't be, you can't do that any other way except pay. I don't know if there's other people on YouTube that actually buy the expensive gear. I think there's one other guy that you can mention him if you want. I think I've seen that is real, and I don't care if you buy $200 set and you feel like that $200 is big money for you, and then as soon as you get it, you're like, oh wow, what did I do? Same feeling. I do it with like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and then I get that, oh no, and then go listen to another track and then it just starts to roll downhill, and then you get this panic feeling. I can feel it as I'm talking about it right now because it's like almost being scared. Like a panic sets in and you start to think about how you're going to, like, can I return this? How much am I going to lose on this? And like, are people selling this? Like, you feel like you're kind of trapped in a corner and you got to get out of it fast. And if you lose some money in that process, it's just get out of the corner. That's fine. This video is all over the place, isn't it? $1,500 is the sweet spot. Over that is specialty sets like the Odin, like the Forte. The 64 Audio crew is probably the best company that I've ever come across in all of my audio experiences. They've made everything so easy. I always pay for my stuff from them, and that they don't even know who they're dealing with, which makes it cooler. I've had issues a couple times, and they're just totally the staff. If anybody knows people that work at 64 Audio, let me say right now that some of the people that I've exchanged mails with, I think one's a girl, and other people in the past, a guy, they were top-notch professionals. They made everything easier, whether I was enthused about the gear or not. The professionalism exhibited by 64 Audio was absolutely peerless. There's nobody that touches them in the business. Period. That's it. I think that when you get over $1,500, I think it really is specialty gear, and I think that it is intended for musical joy. And then when you hold it up under the spotlight, that you hold up $50 sets, $500 sets, it starts to crumble like the Meze Empyrean. You get the Meze Empyrean, you're listening to it. I loved it. Melted on my head. Just, it was so comfortable, and everything sounded great on it, and I loved it. Sat down with the same set, with the same source, with the same library, at the same table, and everything just started to fall apart. The quality of Mitsune, Hiku Mitsune? What the fuck is her name? Miku. Hatsune Miku. The quality of her replay, and then the bass hit, and then Stevie Nicks and Dreams, and then the actual, decay of bass pulls. And when I'm listening as critical, casual versus critical. Casual, the Meze was awesome. Critical fell apart. I love what I do, but it's a blessing and a curse. So I think expensive gear is specialty gear, and I think the Legend X fits my specialty niche really well. I think the Forte does more than the Trio, but I think that they both have I don't think that they're broad, like everyday carry. Some people say that, EDC, like carry this every day, play all of your libraries. I don't think that that's what these do. I don't think that they do vocals in the way that you're maybe accustomed to, and they definitely don't handle upper harmonics in the same way. They put a lot of extra energy onto certain things like keyboards, cymbal strikes that can be fatiguing for long listens, which would preclude it from being like an everyday carry. If you have the sets and you think I use it all the time, good for you. You're not doing what I do. And God bless you, because it's all about the music, and please enjoy the music. I put the music up for you to look at because I want to remind everybody all the time this is all about the music. Unfortunately, when I'm trying to give an opinion on gear, people watch my videos and are like, is this thing going to do good with a bass guitar? That's what I'm supposed to do. The problem is that sometimes stuff doesn't hold up. And the 64 Audio came in before I built this desk, and I liked it. I thought they sounded great. I didn't feel bad about my money. That's not true. Hold on a second. When I got the Forte and I listened to it and considered it versus the Trio, I felt kind of like I did with the U18 versus the U12. Was the 6 extra BAs worth $1,000? Absolutely not. Was this worth like another grand over the Trio? I didn't think so, and I instantly had that shit feeling. But find the beauty of it. Don't feel bad. That was at a time when I was not doing what I do now in the exact same way that I do now, and removing variables is what I'm all about now. The IEMs always come out of the ADI 2 deck. The headphones always come out of the XLR on the Jotunheim 2, using the Bifrost 2. Those are variables, and putting these there with this music, listening for those timestamp events, they're not playing back ideally, and if they were much cheaper sets, I would be probably stepping on them or putting my thumb on them quite heavily. I don't think it would work out. So there's a big difference between enjoying the music and evaluating audio gear. So if somebody who's a reviewer says, I think da-da-da, and you're like, I don't think that at all, there's a couple things going on. There's a lot of things going on. There's volume. That person might be listening at a higher volume than you, and that's why they're saying, I find this fatiguing. And you're like, what the fuck's that dude talking about? That's absolutely not what I hear. You have no idea what volume he's listening at. That's why I do 77 dB with headphones, because it seemed like an automatic thing that you better take care of that. I try to do it with IEMs too, but I haven't been doing that for a long time, so I can't stuff that in there. With headphones, I have been. All of those were compared at the same output, on the same device, at the same exact measured listening level before I proceeded with the review. So that's not a variable when it comes to a headphone evaluation. If something sounded quieter on one set to the other, well, that's down to the transducers and the efficiency or other things. It's not because I'm listening at different volume and I casually reach over and just turn up the knob to power my way out of a perceived haze. I don't do that. I have OCD. So I'm going to do Empire Ears and Odin comparison. and explain to you why I think that the Legend X is a better set than the Odin. I'll be specific, I'll use music, and I'll tell you why, and then you can agree or disagree. But there will be no vagueness with what I say. I'll explain why I like the Forte and the Trio better than the Trio, but I'll also explain why I think both of them are niche, very, very niche sets, that their price would indicate that they're for a small audience. Small, I'm sure they sell lots and lots and lots of them, but if you've ever bought either one of these sets and you thought, that's really not my thing, or you had that sinking feeling in your stomach, I get it. I was there with the Forte. The Trio, not quite as much, but then I thought these things share some odd habits that are unique, which is good because I don't want to have everything to be redundant, but there's also, I don't want to spend a ton of money and not get what I think are quality returns. So I think that $1,500 is the golden zone. I think the IE Z1R, that messed first version for some people, and the second version for myself, or the JP version from the first version, and the IE 900s. I can't stop talking about this set because they're so dope. If you're seeing stuff and you're thinking there's people hyping this set, I think these are dope. I think they're the best executed dynamic driver that I've ever heard in my life. They crush the EX1000 that I have sent to Michigan twice, from Japan to Michigan, to get recabled. This is a total different level from that. So I'm going to reevaluate, and my grades will be changing slightly, but I actually already did. I pulled the Forte and the Trio down from top tier because they're not top tier. They're specialty sets. And the Odin and the Empire Ears Legend X, they need to have a video done together because I think that the Legend X is better. I think that the image out there is that the Odin is a polished Legend X, and I don't agree with that, and I'll explain and be specific why. Before I break out, the Harmonic Dyne PD1 is going to be coming up. It was actually what I was doing. I'll give you an idea of how this all happens. I'm listening to the Harmonic Dyne PD1, and I'm thinking, this has got some great qualities to it, but it's got something that's getting on my nerves. And then I started to listen to stuff, and I remembered the Forte. Like this set, $300-something. It's on Linsole. This is going to be a set that people love or hate, but that's exactly what the Forte is. And I'm not comparing the two in a audio quality level, but then I'm not going to back away from that, actually, because it would be greatly overstated to say that of course that's on a completely different technical level. It's not actually. They're both kind of wonky in their tuning. They're not different so much in the sub bass or so much in the mid bass. This has got a very, very odd bump in the mids that if you were to take your EQ and listen to your favorite set and then bump up 500, 600, 700 hertz and listen to just the vocals of a set. You can take any set you've got and use the piece APO, like that combo. I've got it on my computer right here, I think. If you lift up 4, 5, 6, 700 hertz and listen to vocals while you're doing it, you'll start to hear a difference in the vocals. They sound odd. Both of the 64 Audio Forte and Trio both exhibit what this graph would indicate, is that there's a uniqueness to the presentation, and that impacts vocals. It also impacts part of the bass, even though it's not in the actual measured sub bass, mid bass. There's some extension points, and part of it exists in here where pulls and plucks are accentuated, and it does funny things. So I listened to this set. Let me take the Trio out. So notice these are handling gain different. Till you get there, not so much different, but this is different. This is notable on the Harmonic Dyne. Then they both got a kind of a cavity right here, and it's noticeable, and that's probably what I was picking out. And then they both got energy lay treble. This is not the problem with the PD1. The problem is the abruptness of this and the abruptness of this. You perceive anomalous or sudden increases in volume or decreases, de-emphasis of something suddenly and substantially, up or down, either way. Boost wide, cut narrow, that's the rule, and if you violate that rule, you probably will notice it because your brain kind of locks into certain things. So the PD1 reminded me of the feeling that I got when I listened to the Forte, and that led me to do this video, because I thought $1,500 is the sweet spot. I was going to do that video anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Harmonic Dyne video probably next, and I'm going to do a video for the unique melody Fusang mentor Fusang, probably do that on Friday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, let that sit on the channel. But so the good news, $1,500, I don't think you have to spend more money than that. Bad news is that's a lot of money for a lot of people. So I guess it depends on how you look at that, whether it's a good or bad thing. But I will have a video coming up with the 64 Forte twins, not twins, but kind of like that. They're expensive twins. And then also the 2 Empire ears. We'll get a video together. And putting them all together is kind of too much. That's I'm directed my videos towards obsessive compulsive people. Spreading your brain across 4 sets at one time at this price range is just not going to be done. So those will be 2 separate videos. That's it. I'm out. Report number 1. Remember, the headphones turned out that I thought the SUSVARA is worth the money. I played full price. A lot of people actually get better deals than what I got, but I couldn't wait. And then I didn't think the Utopia or the Stellia, I didn't think those were worth it. I thought the Focal Clear was a dark horse that's totally worth its price. So my listening to music and evaluating has me come up with different conclusions from a lot of other reviewers at times, but I'll be specific with them. So I'll stick my neck out, but I'll be specific with why it's out so far. That's it. I'm out. 1,500. 1,500. That's the spot.
Coming from Queens. Coming.